Yea, verily. Last time on Dice Funk.
I was wondering if you know anything about the red snow over there.
One leads you to believe the thing that left went in the direction of the bar, the bartender Potter's place of business, and the other one leads you to believe that that person or thing went in the direction of barber surgeon Venta's place of business, which would be, I guess, the barber shop / surgery.
I'm glad you said what you're saying a second ago, Austin, because that my initial thought with lots of blood was the truce and alliance we have with a very big group of people just outside of the village.
And all of you know that if you go and stand on this sigil, it basically scans you, and then you will be lowered into the bar, which is actually underground.
I'm picturing, like, this is the system for keeping underage people out of the bar. It's like, no, you're too young to come in, you didn't pass the scan check.
Where's the box?
Hey, bro, I think the box is in the governor's lodge.
Perhaps it's in the desk.
So I've had this dream about all this blood, and last night it happened, and then I got Potter to safety when I came home and slept. It feels like it's gone. I didn't dream about it, and also I tried to, and I think it's gone.
I wonder if anyone's been having spider nightmares that have recently stopped.
Going to open the door and they've stabbed themselves in the forehead with the needle.
Oh my God.
Just say, Eureka, I have figured it out!
I mean, that's appropriate because I think what you figured out through your experiments is that the stuff the nightmare spider is made out of is thought.
I love tulpas.
I was following the pack, all swallowed in their coats, with scars of red tied round their throats. They keep their little heads from falling in the snow, and I turn round and there you go. And Michael, you would fall and turn your white so red as strawberries in the summertime.
Yeah, but if anyone disagrees with you on the internet, just say you went to law school. Like, it doesn't matter what you're fighting about. You can just say you went to law school, and you can tell yourself you won the argument, but when nobody actually, like, agrees with you, they're like, what does that have to do with this?
That's just a retort to any discussion here. It's like, okay, and to this carbonara, we're going to add tomato sauce. Like, tomato sauce doesn't belong in carbonara. Hey, I went to law school, okay?
I gotta tell you, maybe that meant something once, but you know who else went to law school? Rudy Giuliani. So, I don't know that fucking means anything.
Yeah, but you know who says I went to law school? Rudy Giuliani. He'll go, sweetheart, I went to law school, okay? I know how economics works.
That is a terrible power move, trying to call someone sweetheart right away.
Well, no, I'm just saying that's what, like, old men do. They call you sweetheart and call you stupid.
Oh, yeah.
That's the worst thing he's done recently. Anyway. I don't know how much of that I'm leaving in. Last time we left this adventure, the investigation was actually going really well. I had some red herrings laid out on the table for you to waste time with, and you kind of just swatted them off like a cat with a water glass. You're like, I don't believe it's the giants.
We found other things to waste our time on. Thank you very much.
I hope you don't mind that, like, I used up all of my intelligence for the season on that one being okay at investigating, and I'm going to be a dumbass for the rest of the season now.
That's a good trade. I think that's worth it.
So where you were physically was inside the Genius of Grendel's workshop. They have just done an experiment to confirm that the things you've been fighting, the nightmare spider and the blood, are made up of thought. Creatures made of thought are called tulpas, Tulpa. It's a Tibetan word. It just basically means a thought that has come to life. And so where are you going to go next to investigate this? Because it seems the threat is still out there.
I cannot help but think that you keep calling everything that's made of thought, as in THOT.
Exactly.
And just imagine, like, hot girls, like, dancing.
Look, there's still time in this season for someone to be having dreams about hot girls dancing so we can have thoughts.
Wait,
Nightmares of hot girls dancing in particular.
Exactly.
Just
The nightmarish thoughts.
Yeah, they're all being mean to you. They're really tall and pretty, and they all yell at you.
That's it. Now we're into pixel squirt territory. My girlfriend didn't know what thought meant, T-H-O-T. I had to explain it to her. It's very funny. It's one of, she just, I guess, missed a lot of pop culture in the last couple of years. Another great one was the concept of stanning, because she had never heard the Eminem song Stan. And so she thought it was like a reference to how a bunch of countries end in Stan, like Afghanistan and Uzbekistan. She thought people were saying like, oh yeah, I belong to like, you know, the Chicago Bears stan. I stand them. And it was like, that's absolutely nothing. And I played the song for her.
That's actually better than what the real explanation for it is.
You're just taking her side because you're her friend.
No, I like that way better because it doesn't even make sense with the Eminem song anymore. Like, we've turned the concept of standing into the exact opposite of what it meant originally. So the idea, like, no, I belong to, you know, fucking cheesesteak stand, basically, because I stand cheesesteaks or whatever. It's a better way of doing it.
Well, I'll submit to the committee and see if we can get that defined for you, Chris.
Please do.
Yeah,
Post
I mean,
haste.
you've gone to law school, so you know where to submit this stuff. So yeah.
Please, Chris, I went to law school.
Submit a new law about this. That's how you do it, right? You just put a law that says that that's how it is.
That's right.
So now it's time to inhabit your characters and decide what to do next.
It's time to inherit the characters.
That's me going inside.
I'm sorry, Mark. Can we get that again?
That's me going inside of slime as my character.
Thank you. I'm going to have to put a content warning on this one now.
Content warning, Mari gets in character.
Literally.
So we're dealing with dream monsters, it seems. Who could maybe be helpful with dreams in town?
What is a dream?
Well, most of the residents in this town, other than you, have to sleep in order to recover when it is night. And during that time, the mind continues to work independent from any intention. And it is thought that, well, thoughts that are formed in the mind can manifest in visions, in sights and sounds and other sensations while one is unconscious. And these are dreams.
So everyone in town is laying down and hallucinating for several hours a night?
Yeah, basically. But like weird disjointed hallucinations, like there's no coherence to them. Nothing quite makes sense. It's all a bit weird.
And you find this enjoyable?
Yeah, it's a real roll of the dice. You're either going to spend all night like eating a burrito the size of a planet, or, you know, being haunted by everything you've ever feared and you have no clothes on. But like in a way that is scary.
Is this why your eyes move when you guys are laying down at night and I'm watching you?
Yeah, that is why that happens.
There's only one individual I can think of who might have heard of various dreams recently.
And that would be...
Our nearby therapist, Ruth, would know more, I would assume. I don't know how much they can comment on anyone's specific nightmares, but they might be able to give some ideas of what types of nightmares have been happening recently, if any.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna get to there is, confidentiality might be a problem, but you're right, they probably would know the answer.
Is there anything else you want to investigate here for the time being, Genius?
No, you have things to do. I have caused enough explosions for right now. And then I'm going to set my desk on fire.
So as you leave, like some people turn off the lights or lock up for the night. You set a small fire just to keep it lively.
Question: did we have enough time to short rest during all this experimentation?
Yep.
Okay, I will take that to note. Okay.
So, in addition to igloos, another interesting type of Arctic domicile I learned about was essentially just using whale skeletons and kind of draping furs over them to create essentially like, the same kind of heat bubble inside of this. But in our world, we have a special type of whale that we've established in the previous season, which is the blue whale eagle or buigle.
Love it.
So absolutely enormous blue whale skeleton that landed here up on this mountain because it was part whale, part eagle. And yeah.
I don't know. Sorry.
The Weagle is a beautiful creature.
But yes, Ruth's a place of business and actually like living space is a giant buigle carcass, the ribs of which form the walls of her building, and then it has been draped in furs and insulating equipment and so forth. So from a distance, it looks not quite as macabre as it is on the inside, which it has a very Jonah and the whale feeling, I think, on the inside. I'm not going to describe Ruth yet because as you walk into the therapist's office, you notice that she is not here.
Are there any indications, marks, out to lunch signs that might be set up around the space?
Good question. Let's roll investigation.
Aze rolled a 16.
A 5 from Neellith to help.
22.
All right, we got 2 successes. So the party passes. 22 means the genius of Grendel is going to take the lead here. So as I said before, you from the outside, this is a pretty standard looking kind of Arctic building. It doesn't really raise that many eyebrows, but when you pass through the entrance, you see that the walls are these enormous ribs, which has probably a less than calming feeling. But then you're hit by the vibes of this place, which are intensely peaceful. This is a therapy office where Ruth, is a professional, I want to say psychiatrist, but I don't know if that really matches the feudal conception of that medicine we have. But let's just say that for our purposes, psychiatrist. And there is some kind of magic at work in here. 22, genius, I'm going to give you everything. There's a magical vibe in here, which is soothing as part of, the business that happens here. You don't see signs of a struggle, I guess, which is the first thing to note during an investigation. That's always the first thing to look for. Nothing is thrown about or smashed up, but it does look like she left in a hurry. I think there's probably I was going to say tea, but when you find out what species it is, that won't make sense. So I guess there really isn't any food. I think maybe you just find a notebook, which is half written in mid-sentence, which strikes you as strange. So something happened. I think you probably see a calendar. She has, appointments from people in the village all throughout the year. I think everyone in town sees her except for the genius of Grendel, Shoko, and Pastor Very. Maybe not Slime. I don't know. Slime, do you see any? Is this interesting or useful to you?
No.
Hard pass on that.
Hard pass on that. Yeah, so everybody but those 4 characters I think will probably be here in on the calendar. But any medical information is locked up. So you can break into that stuff if you want to, but to start with, before any crimes are committed, I'll say that.
Breaking into the town's medical record seems like a great way to have everybody hate us and not see us as friendly, helpful members of the community.
Yep.
Yeah, that's part of what we're exploring here this season is the ethical way to keep people safe, and it probably does not involve going through their personal mental health records.
Yeah, it's not necessarily nice to just walk in, kick down the door, and go, "Your secrets are mine. I'm the law."
With a 22, the most important thing I'm going to give you here, Genius of Grendel, is that there's an area of the floor which I think is earthen with rugs over it, which is normal for this style of building. There's an area of earth that is perfectly smooth in a way that strikes you as unnatural. And I think if you hadn't rolled above a 20, you'd say that something happened, someone left, I don't know where they went. But with a 22, I think this is what catches your eye, and you think this is the key to figuring out where Ruth is gone.
Can I like knock on the thing on the earth?
Yeah. So you just reached out and knock on the ground, and I think all four of you, are immediately hear a voice inside your head which says, "Hello there! Please help me!"
Can I cast the spell knock then to explode open the earth?
Interesting. I don't think rules as written this does anything. But there's a loud knock noise and like dirt shoots up, and all of you hear again, and you hear the voice again say like, "Well, that didn't quite help, but you're close."
Whereabouts are you?
I don't know. It's very dark.
Can I attempt to use detect thoughts to sort of try and triangulate where these thoughts coming from?
Yeah, well, okay, so yes, you can. I have to say that when you're trying to access thoughts and someone's speaking in your head, she's like, "I am already here. What are you doing? Get out of there." And I think you take boop 1 damage. I rolled a d4, trying to psychically bypass the spells that protect the mental security of anyone in the psychiatrist's office.
I mean, I was only doing surface level. I was purely trying to do the whole I can only do this at a certain distance. Distances.
Yeah, I only rolled a 1d4 for the surface. I think if you tried to go deeper, you probably would have met more resistance. But that's also, it's just important, I think, to establish that this is a no peak zone. Some commenters have said about detect thoughts as kind of a gray space, consensually speaking, and I think this is one of those times where it's like, it's actually not particularly cool to look into someone's brain.
It's a really shitty thing to do to people who, have not consented to it, but different situations.
I mean, most D&D spells are about lighting people on fire, so it's all bad. It's all problematic, but...
Yeah, emotionally bad is worse.
Most people can punch you back. They can't psychically read your brain back.
But Ruth can.
Can I cast, or can I do an Arcana check on this piece of earth?
Absolutely.
23.
Holy shit. Genius of Grendel, perfect investigation on the scene, and then perfect Arcana check. I think you can see the magic because of your spectacles, and then you can perfectly understand what's going on here, which is that there are a lot of wards and auras enchanted on this building to protect the privacy of the people who are here. But whatever magic happened recently and is involved in this case, it came from an outside source, and it appears to have trapped Ruth in the floor. She seems to be underground beneath you.
I'm gonna start digging using my frying pan.
All right, athletics.
Fine.
She's just a little squid.
13.
Yeah. So above average is, I think, what it takes to dig a hole. So 13 is going to hit that.
A frying pan is basically a shovel. I'm good.
Yeah. It's cute. Yeah. So the genius of Grendel figures out what's going on, relays the situation to you, and Neely just digs a hole with her frying pan in the middle of the floor. And I think eventually you uncover Ruth, the therapist, who I will now describe as she is pulled from the earth. She is a flumph, which is fun to say. I'm glad I get to say it again.
You're a flump.
Austin wishes he was a flump, let's be honest here.
I do. It's really the ideal life. So flumps are probably best described as psychic jellyfish. They differ from jellyfish in a couple ways. 1, they have eye stalks. 2, they float. And 3, they don't sting. They are one of the earliest creatures in D&D, one of their OG creatures that were original to the game, one of the only notable lawful good creatures for much of the game's history, because Dungeons & Dragons is a game about killing people and taking their loot. Not much use for lawful good creatures who you can't just murder with impunity. They're often considered the lamest or the dumbest creature. If you just Google top 10 dumbest D&D creatures or worst, you're going to find a lot of people who talk shit about the flumph. But here on Dice Funk, we respect the Flump and what they bring to the universe, which is good vibes.
Flumps are literal perfection. I love them very much.
A thing about them is they glow different colors depending on their mood. As psychic creatures, they actually feed off of thoughts and emotions. That's why earlier I was like, oh, there's a cup of tea left here, half finished. And I was like, well, I don't know if Ruth drinks tea. She kind of feeds off of emotions. But an interesting wrinkle to the glowing different colors based on mood that Cosmignon added to the character when she designed it was that Ruth has a kind of glowing Rorschach design. Instead of like red for angry, blue for sad, green for scared. There's different colors meaning for flumps. She has all of them in a shifting pattern that, well, you tell me, does it look like your mother? What does that mean? How does that make you feel?
How does that make you feel? Answer this. How does this make you feel? No, I'm not going to answer that question. Well, okay then.
Interesting. But yeah, that's she is. I mean, a flump's kind of vary in size. I want to say it's probably goblin sized. So you pull her out of the earth, and she has all these like tentacles dangling down, and she has her eye stalks up top, and she does have a mouth. An important thing, I think, is that flumps do have mouths. I don't know why people forget that, but they do.
Floaty tentacle buddy! Yay, more small floaty tentacle friends.
Tentacle Club? You and Ruth?
Tentacle Club.
Okay. Yeah, so you dig her up out of the ground with your frying pan, and she wraps her tentacles around your tentacles, and you both start chanting, Tentacle Club! Tentacle Club! Tentacle Club! She rises out of the ground reborn.
Are you feeling all right, Ruth?
No, I'm feeling quite bad. I was buried alive.
Who buried you?
I do not know. I was sitting here, going over my notes, and I was seized by a terrible force. A familiar force. I felt it in my dreams.
I know it's not really usually our place to do it this way around. Tell us about your dreams. What have you been dreaming, and how did it make you feel?
Ruth shakes the dirt off and floats over to the seat, the couch, and lays down on the couch and says, "Well, it all starts with my mother."
Of course, Aze's gonna have like one of his notebooks pulled out and just sort of writing things down while this is all going on.
While this is all happening, Neellith is obsessively with a cloth trying to clean the dirt off of the frying pan, because while it was useful and important and necessary, there is now dirt on the food implement.
Oh, this is important. Is it cast iron? Do you have to season it?
Is it carbon steel?
100% cast iron.
Okay.
So,
you have to treat it like a fragile little baby.
Yeah,
you have to give it a little...
Yeah, getting this thing clean right now is going to be a bit of work.
How recently have these particular nightmares been happening, Ruth?
Oh, for a long time. Being buried alive has always been my greatest fear. I feed off of emotions, much the way Neellith feeds off of thoughts. It's a weakness to be left alone. Terrifying.
So, when you got buried, I apologize for prying like this. Did it just happen all of a sudden? Did you have a sense of a bad feeling or a premonition of sorts before it happened, or was it just abrupt?
It was like the earth itself ate me up. You know how in a dream, logic can be fluid?
So, sometimes you have a leg for an arm, but you know it's an arm because in the dream it's an arm, even though it's clearly a leg, but in the dream it's an arm?
Exactly.
So, I think we should just lay out on the table what's happening. Some kind of force is making people's dreams come to life in ways that can be harmful to them or others.
Specifically, it's making their nightmares into reality.
seems to be the case. People's nightmares are manifesting, and that's a problem.
Just a side note, Slime is completely unable to comprehend this.
Yeah, this
It's
is all
just-
complete gibberish. to you.
They hear people talking, and they're describing things that apparently are in their head and now are real, and it doesn't make any sense at all.
We're basically worried that there might be someone in town with a more terrifying or powerful or dangerous nightmare that we might need to prepare for until we can work out how to stop this.
Oh, yes. This seems very bad. Nightmares can be anything, and they don't follow the rules of logic or physics. Your enemy couldn't possibly be more dangerous.
Yes, this is why we are principally concerned about whose nightmares might be affected next, and how they might manifest. So,
We get that you can't just tell us everything that is confidential and that you know, but can you think of any way you can help us? Because, I mean, no one in this town is better equipped to have an idea of what might be coming than you.
It is true that both the laws of my profession and the powerful magics that enchant my office prevent me from breaking confidentiality with my clients. However, I can tell you things that have occurred outside the aegis of our appointments.
anything, even just basic trends in dreams might be helpful, but I trust you to disclose whatever you can.
Well, first I will say that I believe the good historian Hale has mentioned to me outside of business hours that he is afraid of spiders. He mentioned in passing a story once as a boy putting his foot in a slipper only to find a brown recluse, most terrifying necrotic venom.
Well, that might relate to that one there. He's just sort of writing things down in his little notebook there.
But I do not know the mechanism which may have brought these tulpas to the village. I think in addition to finding out who the nightmares belong to, you must find out how they relate to each other. I have not seen Hale in some time, and yet we are both affected by the same force.
And this is all happening in relatively rapid succession, too.
Ruth, is there any chance that you were asleep when this all went down?
Just now, when the earth swallowed me up, no, I was taking notes. And from your story, it seemed like Venta was walking home, not asleep at all.
Yeah, I was thinking in my head maybe they passed out in the snow or something. Okay. I wasn't sure if we just told everyone to drink a lot of coffee, if that would buy us some time.
That's always how it works in the Freddy Cougar movies.
Ah, yes. A popular set of myths and fables for sure. But it seems that this, instead of invading nightmares...
Sorry, I just realized in our universe he's Freddy Cougar, the Tabaxi.
That's right. Freddy Cougar invades into the world of the asleep. This seems to manifest nightmares while the people are awake.
Ah, a classic reverse Freddy Cougar.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be a Cougar Freddy?
Manifesting a tulpa is not an easy thing. There are many people who claim to be able to do so, but I've never heard of a confirmed case of someone being able to do so at will. It seems a rare phenomenon.
The only other piece of information we have found is a needle, a magical needle. Oh no, it was a needle, and the blood that was on it was magical. So I don't know if the needle has anything to do with the manifesting, but indeed, trying to source the if there's an individual manifesting unwittingly or otherwise, sourcing who that might be would indeed aid in all of this.
Well, if you have a question about needles, there's only one person in town to ask. Our beloved tailor.
Yes. We thought about visiting Marina sooner, but now might be the appropriate time to pay them a visit.
If you learn more, you may need to return to me. I have much knowledge of the mind, so I may be able to help you once you know more about the source of this magic.
I know you can't tell us anything about anyone's, dreams or nightmares, but, last question. Can you tell us, anything we should bring with us in a very vague sense? Would an umbrella help?
A change of underwear.
An axe, a screwdriver, a spanner, a book, a dictionary. Any of these helpful?
I do not think so, although I cannot reveal confidential information. You all can reveal to each other information that may become useful later. What nightmares plague you?
Aze just sort of sits for a moment and looks to Ruth thoughtfully and says, I know that we have spent some time talking about the types of dreams I've been having for, quite a while. And it's a little difficult to unpack all of it at once.
I don't think Neellith wants to share this information to Ruth in this moment, but I can send the information to Austin if Austin would like to use it against me.
I mean, yeah, sure.
For slime doesn't fear things, but they avoid things that will hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
And they do have wants and desires. They're just a little different.
Mm-hmm. That is. I also think that there actually could be some elements from the backstory that could be tapped into with some interesting consequences too.
Well, yeah, slime likes to avoid alcohol and fire, but they don't consider them to be bad things, just things to avoid.
Aze will just take a long sigh as Ruth presses him on the matter and says, in short, my main fears have been, ever since I have taken on the role of mystic for Grendel, ever since I've had to take over for the former mystic, my mentor, I've always been fearful of making mistakes, making misjudgments in my analysis, either of others or of the charts, and that information, that mistaken information leading to some grander problem one way or another.
I thought of a fear for slime.
Having questions and having no one to provide an answer to check upon, to confirm. The fear that I am alone in my investigations. The fear that I was alone and now I am alone once again in that field.
Health inspector found moldy food in the fridge. There you go, there's mine. Done. There we go. He's very angry.
Right.
He's very angry. We have to shut the restaurant down for 2 weeks. It's very, very scary.
I love the contrast between this existential crisis from Aze and the very much more practical fear of my livelihood would be destroyed because of a health inspector.
I mean, that is something that I'm sure Neellith has had a bad dream about from time to time.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Oh no, it's the moldy bread monster. Oh no, we're gonna have to put it in the compost bin.
I will say that I once only considered things that are part of myself as things that I would miss. But now I realize things that I have not infested the brain of are also things that I want around me. And I do not wish to lose them in a fire.
So I like to think the genius has just been off, basically. I don't know what Ruth has on their desk, but the genius has just been grabbing various things and electrocuting them just to occupy themselves. And the genius is going to say, "Oh, you do not need to be concerned about my dream. If you happen to see a small goblin, it will be easy to kill."
All right. So for the audience, we probably cut out a couple of minutes there of talking about our feelings about our characters. But I think at this point, the question is, where's the group going to go next? I think during that conversation, two possibilities were floated. Historian Hale is afraid of spiders, and you ran into a spider, so he might know something.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And Marina is the tailor in the village, and if anybody knows where that needle came from, it'd be her.
I feel like finding out where that needle came from is a big priority.
You gotta get the social links early, Austin, or else you're gonna miss out.
Right. You only have so many days in the podcast to get your social links up in order to unlock your upgraded personal spells, you know.
You miss out on all the best moves if you don't meet all of the characters and max their friendships out by episode 38, the official number we stop every season of Dice Funk on.
The other thing is that when you need to like sacrifice your character to upgrade to a new character, the social links will make them start at a higher level, I think, too. So,
and what sucks is if you haven't played this game before, you don't know that the entire month of October is going to be the skiing trip. So you don't have as much time as you think.
Good thing we're past October, I believe. That's back in the which season is that? That would be the season of the Wing. Would be the where October falls.
So if the group agrees to go see Marina the tailor, we have to talk about the location. I think this is the last location in the village. So people have been saying, Austin, where are the maps? We need the maps. This is gonna be, I think, the final piece of that puzzle if you've been waiting. Otherwise, I was also holding out hope. I didn't want to say that the map was complete until the players had a chance to make some shit up, because you never know when Chris is going to be like, all right, I'll be at the dispensary, and it's like, fuck, now there's a dispensary in this village.
Do you guys mind if I stop up by the dispensary? And I will meet the raptor who runs it.
That's only okay if we can also stop by the multi-level shopping center so that I can pick up some things.
The ninja tournament is going on right now, I believe.
I love that Ifrit from Final Fantasy runs the fantasy Hot Topic.
This is all going on the TV Chirps page. I hope you're happy. The tailor's shop is actually in what to you is just a long metal building. You don't really have the context, but what the audience would immediately recognize as a downed spaceship. It's like, the Millennium Falcon landed on the side of this mountain, and just all of you feudal people don't really know what that means or why it's important. There's just a big metal building here, and this is where Marina has moved in. I think she probably gutted all the technology out of it just because it's not useful for her purposes. Yeah, so there's not like any chance it's going to blast off or anything. It's been basically stripped for parts, and it's now just a big metal empty space. And also the whole thing is probably not intact. So it's not like noticeably, it's not like someone, it's not like the genius could just fix it and fly away from the season. Chris, I know what you're thinking.
I'm sorry. You stop. You can't spoil it now. I would like to attempt an engineering check to fix it and run away.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just this big metal building that's weird to all of you, and none of you know where it's from. You probably just refer to it as, it's
I rolled
like,
a 26. Do I escape?
Oh, God. Yeah, Chris, goodbye.
He troubleshot his way out of the situation. What a legend.
Roll credits. It's like in Far Cry 5, if you just sit still when the villain tells you, he just sends you home and then the credits roll. With a 26, the genius of Grendel leaves the season.
I also like to think it's like the opening of Zero Time Dilemma, and was like, here's a coin flip. If you guess it right, you're let go. Yep, you guessed right. See you later. Here's the credits.
So this big metal building is the tailors, and the person inside is Marina, and they are going to need a lot of introduction because they are another species unique to Dice Funk. They are a denizen, which we have former cast member Conrad Zimmerman to thank for.
This is a wonderful, wonderful, lovely little fantasy species we got going on here.
Oh, yeah. So Conrad described them as David Bowie and the Man Who Fell to Earth, which he plays an alien in that film. So they're humanoid with cat eyes. That's kind of the first important thing that he established. Some other facts about them: they have 4 arms. They are scaled from the neck down. So they have like almost a reptilian kind of scaling to their, most of their body, but their face looks more or less human, besides the cat eyes, I guess. They have clawed feet, although you will never see that on Marina. She always wears very stylish shoes. I'm saying that looking at this illustration in which she does not have shoes. I just don't want to give the feet perverts any room.
It's too late. It's too late. You already described the feet, so therefore it's here.
Okay, so 4 arms, scaly, cat eyes, but besides that, humanish. Any other details we want to say about the species before we talk about Marina more specifically?
If you saw the movie Earth Girls Are Easy, looks similar.
Does it? I know Jeff Goldblum's in that, but I don't think I've actually seen it.
Yeah, and he's a giant fur. Actually, you know what? If you're a furry, you'll like that movie. Just side note. Anyway.
Just a fun little fact for you furries out there.
Yeah, it's a furry movie.
A furry movie wreck.
On Cosmignon's bit of art of Marina, I really like that the scales are just crawling up onto the face a little bit.
Yeah, it's a great image. I mean, I could never do justice to the fashion going on here. As the tailor in town, obviously her drip is completely right. It's like a red cape and then like a green top and then blue shorts.
Can we take a minute to appreciate that a tailor that has scales on their hands would have a really good time not needing a thimble in order to not stab themselves when popping their pin through the fabric,
Yes.
which, inspired. I love them.
I greatly enjoy her fluffy pink hair. It's like fluffy.
Yeah.
And she's what I would call thick and 4 arms. How many hands,
4.
But so all of you roll up. I think you just walk in. It's just like a shop, so there's no expectation that that's weird. And you see Marina hard at work with her 4 arms. She's holding things in place and sewing and measuring. She's very perfectly adapted to this. In my mind, I was like, 4 arms is perfect for a tailor. And then Mari's like, yeah, think about what she could do with all those fingers.
I was talking about tailoring. I don't know what you are speaking of. Horny
okay.
jail.
Yeah.
Bonk.
Austin here pretending not to be the horny one.
I have never been horny. Not even once.
No, not even a once. Definitely not at Disney.
I don't know what you're talking about. Everyone shut up.
Aze has to take a glance over where if there are any scarves and such on display first, just because, he has to.
Perception check to look at scarves.
Oh, well, I suppose I can. Let me just double check my bonus.
I want you to botch on scarves.
Oh.
I don't know how that would play out, but I want to see you botch on scarves.
Not quite, but that's a 10.
So close! Oh.
All right. So with a 10, I want to say there's some nice scarves here. You do get average, so you don't take damage from this, but you do step on a needle. It just doesn't, the angle isn't like a deep wound. It's just like a glancing blow.
Ozzy will pick up the needle, and then does it look like the same type of needle we had before that Potter stepped on?
Yep, exactly the same.
Is Arze bleeding uncontrollably in a way that wouldn't make sense for the injury?
Not at all. Not even a little.
Unfortunate. Good. Anyways, Ozzy's just like, jeez. Marina, I think I found another one of your needles around here.
Right. Of course. Yep, they'll be all over. I leave them all around town.
You leave them all around town?
Well, not on purpose. I'm just, I work. I make house calls.
Yes.
Have you ever had a nightmare about one of your needles stabbing someone and then them bleeding forever and not stopping bleeding?
Come again?
Eternal bleeding needle nightmare. Ever had one?
I don't know what you're on about, mate.
I'm assuming that means no.
Aze will approach Marina, then offer up the needle to her.
I think just with a fluid motion, she's like takes it and like puts it in her hair or something. She probably has like a dozen of them.
We came across a needle of yours earlier. It was involved in a rather bizarre accident.
Okay, so rather than recount for again what's been going on, we just say you tell Marina what's happened so far?
Yeah.
We explain to Marina's what's happened, yeah.
Yeah, she says, I don't know nothing about any of that. That sounds wild. I'm sorry to hear about Potter. I'll bring him a cake or something.
He's feeling better, but yeah, so basically the long and short of it is that we're trying to see what other nightmares might be coming about, and if you have either noticed anything unusual or has anything odd happened around here. Everything seems on the up and up for you, Marina.
Yeah, I haven't seen much. I've been very busy with all the preparations. At this point, before you can ask about what preparations, Genius, you did roll a 26, which I know was a joke about stealing this ancient derelict spaceship. But if you want to use that to do an experiment, because we've established basically that you can use experiments to improve things about your character like you did with the grease. Is there something here in the tailors that you could use to like augment a spell?
Well, I have vampiric touch.
Mm-hmm.
So I could make it like a Freddy Cougar glove that I stab people with.
All right, so you want to vampiric toucha. Are you staying with the Final Fantasy analogy?
Vampira is what we'll call it. Vampira, yeah.
Oh, no, it's going to be Super Toucha.
I don't like that. This is the sequel to Super Seducer. So basically, you're going to incorporate the needles in Marina's shop. Because, this whole arc has really just been inspiring you about blood and needles and absorption.
I cannot wait to use this to capture people's dreams and then run experiments on them.
Oh, God. So everyone looks over at the genius as they finish with whatever terrible monstrosity they've constructed.
It's just like a leather glove with like a couple tubes crackling with electricity, and then just long jagged needles where all of the fingers are.
Can they be crackling and cackling? That would be upsetting.
Actually, they probably are cackling from the dream monsters that are inside them.
Oh my gosh.
That's great.
So what sort of preparations have been dealing with? Is this special for this winter or just in general?
Oh, for Young Day coming up.
Out of character Young Day?
Yeah, history roll to know about this. I think all of you know at least a little bit, so there's a floor for your ignorance, but let's roll to see perhaps how much you know.
That would be an 11 from me.
12.
5.
17.
All right, so the party got average. 11, 12, and 17 are all above 10. So I would say that the party knows Young Day. That's Yeung. Young Day is much. It's like basically this universe is like Columbus Day, except not genocidal. Mm-hmm. Captain Young was a famous explorer who discovered the world above, at the top of the mountain, or at least that's what the story is. What the story has become is brave Captain Young led the first teams up to the surface and explored the new world. But completely distinct from in our universe is that there are no natives to displace or abuse up there. Mm-hmm. So it's completely guilt-free exploration. But the holiday Young Day is basically a celebration of the exploration and adventurous spirit embodied in the historical figure of Captain Young. And you all know like the basics of it, and I think that's basically with the average roll. That's where it stops. Like none of you know what she would be preparing or why, but she just says she's preparing for that holiday.
I take it you're on track at least to get your work done in time for the holiday.
We're snowed in one way or the other, so it doesn't really matter. The rest of the world can celebrate it when the sun is shining. We'll get there when we get there. If it's a little late, I have an excuse because of the weather.
Well, who else would have these sorts of needles?
Oh, well, I've been doing all my preparations with Sun, Moon, Stars. So if anyone else has got any of my materials, it'd be her.
Oh, interesting.
Marina, what do you nocturnally hallucinate about?
How's that?
Nightmares.
Hallucinate? Wait, you're the cops. Are you trying to buy drugs from me?
No. First
We are
and
not
foremost,
cops.
we are not cops. That concept doesn't exist yet, and you know it, Marina.
There is no government to enforce the law upon to. So therefore, we are community watch leaders.
Well, in that case, I do have some drugs if you'd like some, Slime.
Will the drugs make me dream?
There's only one way to find out.
Give me the drugs. But first, tell me of your nocturnal hallucinations.
Okay, so two things. One, can you make a constitution check for me, Slime? Because I think Marina, does a hand-to-hand drug transaction in the middle of her store. She has 4 hands, so she's, gesticulating, to keep Aze his attention, who she thinks is a no-fun guy. And then she, palms you some drugs.
I roll a 7.
Oh, no. Okay. So, Slime, can you describe to me your bad trip, aka your, I guess, failed integration with these drugs? I'm picturing just her slipping you some, because you said hallucinate at night. I just slipping you some mushrooms, just a couple of psilocybins under the counter.
Yeah.
So, as soon as the drugs touch me, because my whole body can digest any part because I'm covered in myself, slime, I immediately absorb it and take the entire trip in a matter of 10 seconds.
Oh, they hit real
and I
fast.
just roll my head back with my eyes wide open and scream really loudly for 10 seconds. And then I stop.
Neellith is using a tentacle to try and just reassuringly pat Slime.
Yeah, okay, so there's a lot going on. I think Slime tries to integrate the psilocybin and then screams, and then just goes back to a completely flat affect afterwards, like it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ask, was that a dream?
I mean, that's probably the short version of the nightmare. Yes.
Well, depends. Did you experience any sensory information during those moments?
Yes.
Yeah, sensory information that isn't actually happening, but your brain thinks is happening, is basically a dream.
Everything turned into fire and everyone ran away and never came back. But it was only for 10 seconds, but it felt like 10,000 years.
As a consequence of this failed roll, I think the scream got the attention of your pet cat. Who, I don't know if they like you, but they recognize you. They know who/what you are, and they recognize that you're making a noise. And so I think, as cats are wont to do, it decides to leave your house. I mean, my cat is constantly opening the door during recording, so I'm just picturing cat jumping up, getting on their hind legs, their little ant legs, opening the door, and then just bounding through the snow. And then you hear a roar outside of the tailor's place.
Cat! Come to me, cat. We have sufficiently bonded now. It's safe. Do not worry.
Okay, well, we've done 2 animal handling checks. Here's the third. I love my rule of 3. So if this one fails, oh gosh, I really hope it does. It's going to be so funny, Mari. Please fail this animal handling check.
You're asking for it.
Good roll.
15.
Oh, okay. No, I can't show favoritism. This is also fine. It's okay if the cat so the cat comes to your aid, I guess. It's been biting you and being mean to you since you met, but with this I think it shows the first glimmer of concern about this, and when it kind of pokes its head into the tailor's shop, you can what's the word I'm looking for, not comfort, but tell cat everything's okay.
It is okay, cat. Everything is okay. We're bonded now.
You understand what dreams are. Your cat probably has those.
Cat, do you dream?
You and the cat look into each other's eyes, and just trying to stare into each other's eyes and see each other's minds. And I don't know that there's ever been a less relatable to me as a human kind of train of thought. But
And we both sit there and you guys keep talking. We're just staring at each other
the whole time.
the whole time. Everyone else keeps doing what they're doing. We're just going to stare at each other's eyes.
Can I get from non-slime party members from non-slime party members, can I get a perception check?
Yes. If you must.
Ozzy rolled a 10 again.
11.
12.
Wow. 10, 11, 12, all perfectly average. I was looking for a 15. So basically the way this plays out is Ozzy says to Marina, what have you been dreaming about? Have you had any nightmares recently? But that gets misinterpreted. Slime goes on a trip. Cat comes back, and then everyone's looking at Slime and Cat staring into each other's eyes. And so that's going on for like an excruciatingly long time. And everyone's just like, okay, well, we're going to let Slime do that. And then you turn back to Marina to finish your conversation, and she is gone.
Detect thoughts.
Yeah, what's the range on detect thoughts?
30 feet.
Oh, no, nothing.
Okay.
I didn't hear where she went off to. Is there like a door in the back that?
Yeah, so it sounds like you want to try to follow a trail. That's survival. So if everyone wants to roll survival, that's where we are.
6.
That'd be 18 from Aze.
7.
So the party fails. Only the 18 passed the DC. So I think you see that Marina's gone, Aze. You hop the counter because when you walk into the tailors, there's like a counter where you can talk to the staff who like buy stuff. I don't know why I'm explaining a shop counter to you. Like you don't.
No. Please continue. Can you describe the exact dimensions of the counter? The wood is made out of. Possibly is the surface finished or unfinished? If you put a beverage on it, will it leave a ring on it, or do you need to use like a coaster, or is it fine?
You hop the balsa wood counter, unfinished. There's some slight scuffs. There's 2 coffee stains. We'll just spend 15 minutes describing this counter. You hop it and you go to the back door and you open that one up. It looks like it was an escape hatch on this ship. And you open it and there's just howling snowstorm. You assume that whatever happened to Marina happened, out this door. But you do not see a trail. And with everybody failing, I think at this point, everyone just follows you out as you go running off into the wind and the snow, and it's dark and you don't see her. And yeah, I think this investigation has happened like an indeterminate time of day, because it's just the snowstorm is so overwhelming. It doesn't really matter if it's day or night, but it's getting really dark now. And so you're just completely helpless out here.
Aze is going to activate his starry form / astrological singularity. He's going to activate the scribe again, so his arms will start glowing. The shape of an eye and a scroll form on his arms, and so he emits some light so it's easier to see first and foremost.
Can I investigate the scene and see if there's any clues that might have been left behind?
Yep, absolutely.
17.
With a 17, the genius of Grendel, you see Aze wandering through the snow. He has the constellation on his body lighting it up. But even though you can see now, you realize that you don't know what you'd even be following. So I think with the 17 on investigation, you look around the tailor's shop, you see all the needles. You remember the needle you have with the nightmare stuff on it, and you come up with a quick genius solution. In the same way you incorporated the needles into your glove, I think you do a quick bending of space and time around the needle, and you try to basically return the nightmare stuff, the thought juice from the spider, back to the tulpa. So it's like magnets. You magnetize the goo to try to tell it to go back to the other goo, and then you can follow it with Aze's light. Chris, you and I are both familiar with that part near the end of Diamond is Unbreakable where they do this with blood.
Yes.
Okay.
I would like to channel that. I would also note I've been working with magnets recently, and they've been making me rather angry. So I'm going to channel some of that frustration there.
Okay, magnets are about to get it. They've had it good for too long. It's time to tell magnets what's
They've
what.
had it too good for too long.
Yeah, so you use your science magic to charge up the thought goo, the thought juice, and the needle floats away and begins going through the snowstorm. And Ozzy, your body is covered in the glowing constellations, and so you're a beacon. Everyone follows as the needle floats through the air, and it kind of hooks at a weird angle off the beaten path. You would have not been able to, just stumble upon this if you had succeeded on your survival roll. Maybe you'd have figured this out, but it's like down an obscure footpath to a part of town that all the buildings are closed because the businesses are seasonal and the people who run them are either not operating or they've left for the winter. Mm-hmm. So it's just all these kind of closed, boarded up buildings, and you see the needle kind of hook between them, and there's like a dark alley. Alley is more urban than I guess, just like behind a closed building here. What kind of building is seasonal that's closed?
Spirit of Halloween.
Spirit Halloween, you fucking asshole. I was literally thinking, as for like commentary purposes, it's because all the adventurers coming and going will like stock up on weapons, but this is such a nice peaceful village where nothing bad ever happens. So it's like the sword store.
Yeah, our local Halloween festivity costume shop closes down when there aren't enough festivals.
Mm-hmm. Spirit Halloween (parentheses now with real swords).
Exactly. Where else in town are you going to buy a pumpkin-themed axe?
Also, with real spirits as well.
I would love that. All right, so all of you roll initiative. Because it took you a while to catch up, I'm going to roll initiative with advantage.
21. Is there going to be a fight this season that Neellith doesn't start?
So you follow this needle as it goes into the Spirit Halloween now with real swords, and you see it kind of slip. The door has been like left slightly ajar. The needle slips in, and then all of you walk up to the door.
I open the door, and what do I see?
Ozzy has the constellation light going, right?
Yeah, Aze has his the scribe constellation on his arms, so he's emitting bright light for 10 feet and dim light for another 10 feet beyond that, I believe is what it is.
All right, yeah, so that's the perfect atmospheric amount of light to cut through enough of the Spirit Halloween now with real swords and to catch a glimpse of something in the corner by the Halloween masks, kind of huddled down as if it was about to do something terrible. This creature is 6-7 feet tall, although it's very hunched. It seems like partially furry. It has two curled, sharp horns. It has clawed fingers, and it has, from what you can see of its bloody mouth, a long forked tongue. And it also is carrying a wriggling sack, which seems to be bloody, and there seems to be someone inside the sack trying to fight their way out, because what's in the corner of this store is a Krampus.
I was gonna ask if it was a Krampus.
Marina's favorite holiday? It's Christmas. And if there's one thing she hates more than losing her needles, it's that dang old Krampus.
I mean, that Krampus is mean old sort.
It's cramping her style. So the Krampus snuck in the back of the tailor shop, dropped the bag over her head, and yanked her out, and you've cornered it now. It has her in the sack. Oh, Neellith, you're up first in the order. What do you do?
Hypnotic pattern.
So you know for a fact that tulpas are immune to charm.
I don't use hypnotic pattern.
I guess I could just let you do that, but I just want to say for the record, I don't want to come off as mean.
Neellith is gonna cast Shatter.
Oh, geez.
Which in this case will be flavored as throwing a plate real hard toward the ground.
Okay, that's a Constitution save, I believe.
Yep, Constitution saving throw.
Is that who is that for just the target or for everyone within range?
It's a 10-foot radius sphere, so I'm assuming this. I'm first in the door. I'm assuming it's 10 feet away.
Okay.
21. Krampus saves, but still takes half damage.
Yes,
You throw a plate into the dark building, and it explodes, and they're hit with shrapnel. And they kind of do a low, growling noise and hop up on a display case full of Halloween masks and drop their sack.
I rolled real bad on that shatter. That's 4 damage.
Not good at all. The Krampus is only mildly annoyed, but it did drop the sack with Marina in it. And it's now Slime's turn.
I cast Ray of Sickness, 3rd level, and do I do the hit one first? So it's a +7.
Yeah, you
20?
roll the attack roll first. Yeah, so it's a d20 plus 7 for the attack roll.
So I got 18.
18. All right, so you hold out your arm and you do the pus explosion you've done before?
Yeah, but it's just yes. But let's see how I roll on the thing and see if it's disgusting enough.
Let's be 10 poison damage there, and the Krampus has Constitution saving throw that it can make.
19.
Fuck.
The Krampus saves, and so it's not poisoned. At the end of your turn, Slime, the shattered plate on the floor is going to become basically a cloud of shuriken. Everybody at the door, dexterity saving throw.
12.
Oh, no.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see here. 16. I am. Let's see here. Oh, geez, I can't help everyone here.
Only Ozzy succeeds, so 3 damage to everyone but Ozzy as the Krampus reaches down off the display case and scoops up the shards of glass, from the plate, I guess porcelain maybe, and heaves them back to sender and just riddles the party with these shards and kind of its tongue lolling out very grossly, as if to taunt you.
Sexily.
What?
Its tongue is lolling out to taunt you. It's kind of like a little,
Sexily.
flirty.
All right, that was a legendary action at the end of Slime's turn. It's actually now the Krampus's turn. So I think what it's going to do is leap up and grab a display case full of real swords that they sell at Spirit Halloween and rip it off the wall and try to bring it down on the 2 people who've entered. So dexterity saving throw again, but just Neely and Slime.
5.
6.
6.
Yep, so both of you fail. So basically, with a 5, Krampus is leaping from display case to display case and brings down a whole shelf of real swords down on Neellith and Slime as they enter the shop.
Not the damp squad.
Yeah, It is now Dry Team's turn. First up, Genius of Grendel.
I would like to cast Advanced Touch.
Vampiric Toucha?
Yeah, Advanced Toucha.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna bend space and time to bring my spooky Freddy Cougar claw out, and I just wanted to stab it. Not even in a cool. I just want sex needles to be going straight to the Krampus's face.
Okay, sick.
So we'll roll an attack. 13.
That actually is the DC. That's the AC. It's
Hot.
13.
Hot dog. Awesome. What does Advanced Vampiric Touch do?
One more damage dice, and then one more. It's half his healing, right?
I get half the amount back as hit points.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think you do 1 additional damage and heal 5 additional hit points.
I just want to give it a fear of plates. Can I do that?
Can you give it a fear of plates?
Yeah, because it wasn't afraid of Neellith's plate, and I feel like that's incorrect because everyone should be afraid of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I don't get the reference. I don't know
Because
anything
Stone Cold Steve Austin's entrance music starts with glass breaking, and
Oh,
composer Jim Johnston said he specifically took the influence of the sound of somebody dropping a plate and it breaking as the reason why the song starts like that, because he says when a plate drops, everyone in the room turns to pay attention to it.
Yeah, I actually do know that. sound. I've heard that.
There you go. So 14 damage, nerd.
Okay. So you bend space and time to stab the Krampus in the face with your gloves. I think that enrages the Krampus, which now attempts to basically ram its entire body, because the Krampus is very goat-like. It has the cloven hooves and the horns, and is just going to try to bull rush you, Genius of Grendel. Actually, let's do a strength contest here.
You're probably still going to win. Never mind, I got 17. Suck my nuts.
All right, so
We got a chat in here.
So the Krampus tries to bull rush you, and what, you just put on the parking brake and look him in the eyes?
Can I slam the door in his face?
Yes, fuck, that's really good. All right. So I think what happens is you slam the door on the Krampus, because you didn't actually enter the room. You bent space time to attack, and so you slam the door. Krampus hits it and is actually going to take damage, and then like shards are going to hit you, because the strength contest was to see if you were knocked prone. You're still going to take a little damage here. So 10 damage to both you and Krampus, because it has to go through the door, which hurts it badly, but then it does hit you. It doesn't knock you prone because you won the strength contest, but you do get rammed by, a 6-foot satyr-like creature. So it's Aze's turn.
All right. So where is the Krampus right now? It's in the doorway, basically?
It's literally in the doorway, yeah. If this was like a tactical turn-based strategy game, this is the least ideal place to be, because you can be attacked from all sides.
Yeah, I think what Aze will do here is he will use his... We'll check here. Bonus action, spells, anything here. I think what he will do in this point is maintain the scribe form on him, and simply just use the fact that it's stuck in a door to do a pretty aggressive guiding bolt against it. This one he will be casting as a 2nd level spell. So let's just roll that D8. For the attack, that's a 27.
Oh, yeah.
For the attack roll. For the damage, 5d6. That's 19 damage from Aze, as he has the 2 plates that from before. He held them up. They rotate while hovering off of his hand, lock at a certain point, and then light forms in the center, shoots through, and then pierces at the Krampus, doing 19 radiant damage and leaving glistening constellations around its form temporarily to give advantage to the next attack roll.
All right, at the end of your turn, legendary action is going to attack you. 13.
13 will miss my armor class.
All right, so I think the Krampus picks up like a shard of the door, like a wooden spear, and chucks it your way, and you deflect it with your plates, or with another beam maybe, just like shoot it out of the air.
Mm-hmm. That sounds about right, yep.
And then it's Neellith's turn.
Neellith is annoyed that the last attempt at combat did not go as planned, so she's throwing the good china. Another shatter.
Okay, the good china. That's a con. Boop. 6. All right.
Okay, come on. Let's do some better damage this time, please.
Uh-huh.
Come on. 12! That is slightly better.
Okay, so what happens, Neellith, and you can help me paint this picture, is it's standing in the doorway, and it roars, and, it holds out, it, has its big, sharp, bloody claws, primed, and it's, about to charge more people down, and you just chuck a really nice plate at it.
I know exactly what happens. Specifically, it's not just a really nice plate, it's a Christmas plate. It's got a really nice mural of of Santa Claus, defeating Freddy Cougar in battle. It's a really nice Christmas plate.
And so this plate just hits it square in the face while it's roaring, and then just blows its head off.
Exactly.
Like a grenade. And I think it takes out the door frame too, because this isn't really your fault. Krampus broke the door, but I like the idea that whoever's store this is going to come back, and the front of their building is going to have been blown apart.
Yeah, and the problem is that once there's shards of the Christmas plate on the floor, where else is the nice Christmas plate going to have come from? Everyone knows that those get rolled out every year.
So I think the first property damage on the Moistwatch's I'm gonna say the Moistwatch's watch on the Moistwatch's
Reign of Terror. I mean, yeah, turf. Sure.
is this Spirit Halloween is badly damaged, but the Krampus, after having its head blown off by the shatter, kind of stumbles around headless and then dissolves into black goo and slinks off into the snowstorm.
First important thing is to check on Marina in that case.
Oh yeah, she's trapped in the big Santa's bag. It's like blood stained and like probably made from like flayed skin, and she's like trapped inside of it and just like, "Oi, help me out of here!"
Just one moment. He's going to try to untie the bag. Probably not very well, but
yeah, I mean, there's you'll get it. No need to roll for that. But you eventually get it out.
Yeah.
And Marina comes crawling out with all four arms, like, "Man, I fucking hate the Krampus. I hate him."
Well, that's the answer to our question about what might have manifest, but
I'm glad that you're doing okay. I scared it off with the power of Christmas.
That's the most powerful power.
and we're going to have to tidy up this place before spring.
Yeah, so that's like a side quest that's been added to your log is fix Spirit Halloween now with swords.
Find corpse, fix Spirit
Austin,
Hall.
here's the secret. We don't have to do that because you didn't make one of the NPCs be from there, and therefore no NPC can be mad at us.
No, it's okay. I can cast puke mending.
Oh, that's where Bloops lives, though.
Yeah, Bloops, the seasonal worker who only works here during the traveling time and then travels back to their family during the winter because they're cowards and can't put up with the snow. So,
yeah, I think there's too much damage for Slime to mend it all right now, but I like that as like her downtime scene is that her and another NPC come back and they fix the building with puke. That's that's on brand.
That's wholesome.
Puke mending.
That's wholesome. Yeah.
But yeah, so now you can actually finish your conversation with Marina, which is so rudely interrupted.
We can walk back to your shop while we talk, Marina. But yes, you can see why we're trying to deal with this entity as soon as we can.
Fucking Krampus, hate his shit, hate him so much.
Were you saying before all this that there was someone else that might have had some of your needles?
That was Sun, Moon, Stars, I believe it was.
Oh yeah, we've been working on the Young Day celebration. We've been planning. We have all kinds of little projects. We have floats. We have Okay, so now we are going to together, I guess, workshop a holiday and its attendant traditions. But the important thing I think Marina says is, yeah, me and Sun, Moon, Stars are in charge of planning for it. So, I mean, if anybody has any more needles, it'd be her.
How long ago did you start planning?
I mean, we've been talking about it on and off, I mean, we're in charge every year, but we only really started in earnest last night.
Is not last night when the things started?
Last night, Potter went to walk Venta home from the Dogberry, and that's when he stepped on the needle and all this started.
I think we might have a path to where this might have originated, or at least a person who might have been around when it originated.
I feel like going to talk to Sun, Moon, Stars would be the logical next place to go.
Yeah, we might as well go. Might as well go make sure we're measured for our graves before we die. We are prepping for a TPK, so speed running that is really important.
Okay, important question, Slime. Do you leave Cat with Marina to hang out in the shop, or you take Cat home?
Oh, I take Cat home and give them one good pet.
Aw.
And they try and bite me, but then I leave.
Yeah. So you leave Marina in the shop, you tell her to lock the doors, and then you walk Cat back to Slime's on the way to the cemetery. You put Cat back inside. He takes off part of your pinky finger, and then you nod and say, "Yes, exactly. Thank you."
It's one of our id jokes there. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's a classic cat move. And then you all walk over to the cemetery. I think you can see it from a distance away because of these crystal flowers that grow only here. I think the only place in the world these flowers grow. And it's just like a beautiful sight, even from a distance, even in the snow. And I think you see Sun Moon Stars like sleeping on top of a what's it called? A crypt? Like, the above ground stone burial situation.
Mm-hmm.
I run up to Sun Moon Stars as fast as I can and put my face so close to their face, but not touching.
Okay. Sun Moon Stars is like laying on this stone sarcophagus above ground. You will get up right in her face. To remind the audience, she's an Aasimar goblin, which is an angel goblin. But she just looks like a normal goblin here, like asleep. And then she opens her eyes, which are two floodlights, and you're an inch away from her face, so she's shining right into your face, and she says, "Hello, my love," and she gives you a little kiss on your nose. Mwah.
Yay!
She was not expecting that, so you got her.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why does this town need a full-time gravedigger when there are only 10 people in town?
I thought we described this in detail during downtime, but a lot of people die on the journey to the summit and then while exploring the new world. People want their family to visit them, and that's too dangerous in the new world, so they get buried here so their families can visit them.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you do during the months where we are in Blizzard?
I mostly hang out with slime.
Okie dokie.
I mean, it's look, genius. It's not like this is a job that we could just do without for 6 months over the winter. In case someone did die, we need to still have someone for that.
I like the idea of the genius of Grendel rolling into an elementary school and be like, "Yeah, what are you doing during the summer, you sack of shit? You lying little bitch? Come back here. What do you do on your time off?"
Oh boy. Just terrible. Anyways.
Hey, so we have a bit of a problem going around town at the moment. Short version, nightmares are becoming real and attacking everyone.
I dreamed.
Wow, that's so big for you.
What did you dream?
What did I dream? Well, I had a terrible nightmare.
Have you considered not taking drugs?
So, what did you have a nightmare about? Because it might become real, and it's probably very important we know what's on the table.
Well, I have this terrible recurring nightmare about falling forever.
Well, at least you're grounded for the time being.
And with that, all of you feel a terrible, rushing weightlessness as you are ripped off the ground and pulled into the sky.
Ozzy will just take a note in his book and say, "I need to learn to keep my mouth shut at times like this."
I was following the pack, all swallowed in their coats, with scars of red tied round their throats to keep their little heads from falling in the snow. And I turned round and there you go, and Michael, you would fall and turn the white snow red and strawberries in the summertime.